Welcome students. So far we have discussed about the concentration of a solution. Now when we dissolve a solute in a solvent, then a solution is formed, right? We can dissolve different amounts of solute in the same quantity of solvent, right? And then we can have many solutions having different concentrations, because we have dissolved, we have added different amounts of solute in same quantity of solvent, so we can get many solutions having different concentration of the same solute, right? And a particular solution may contain less amount of the dissolved solute, whereas another solution may contain more amount of solute in it, right? For example, we can prepare many salt solutions of different concentrations. How? By dissolving different amounts of salt in same quantity of water. So we'll get different concentrations of salt solutions, right? So depending upon the amount of solute present, the solutions can be classified into two groups: unsaturated solutions and saturated solutions. Let's discuss it in detail. Now, what is an unsaturated solution? We'll first discuss unsaturated solution, okay? A solution in which more quantity of solute can be dissolved without raising its temperature. It's called an unsaturated solution. It means when you are dissolving a solute in a solvent to form a solution, and when there is a there is a there is a chance of adding more and more solute to the solvent, and that gets dissolved in it without changing the temperature, without raising the temperature. And when there is a possibility that you can add more and more solute to the given solvent, then without raising the temperature, that is called an unsaturated solution. For example, if you are having an aqueous solution of salt, you are having a salt solution, without raising the temperature, you can dissolve more and more salt. So more of salt can be dissolved without raising its temperature. Then at that point, this salt solution will be an unsaturated solution. So actually, an unsaturated solution contains lesser amount of solute than the maximum amount of solute which can be dissolved in it at that temperature. It means the solute which you are adding, it's actually less than the maximum solute which gets dissolved at that temperature. So that is why when you are adding more and more solute, it easily gets dissolved, because you haven't reached that maximum level. Okay, so in an unsaturated solution, you can add more quantity of solute without changing the temperature. Now, what is a saturated solution? Now, a solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at that temperature, it's called a saturated solution. So it means now the solute has reached to its maximum level. Now the maximum amount of solute has dissolved in that solution, in that solvent at that temperature, and no more solute can be now dissolved. So that is a saturated solution. So for example, again, if you are having an aqueous salt solution and you are adding salt and you see that the salt is getting dissolved, you added 2 spoons of salt, it got dissolved. You have added 3 more spoons of salt, it also got dissolved. So it means the solution is unsaturated. But a stage is reached when you are adding salt, you are adding more of salt, but now the salt is not getting dissolved. No more salt is now getting dissolved at that temperature. So at that point, when no more salt can be dissolved at that temperature, then that salt solution will be a saturated salt solution. Okay, so saturated solution contains maximum amount of solute which can be dissolved at that temperature. So it's obvious that a saturated solution contains then greater amount of solute than an unsaturated solution, right? So if I'm saying I'm adding sodium chloride in 100 grams of water, then let me tell you 36 grams of maximum of 36 grams of sodium chloride can be dissolved in 100 grams of water at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. It means at this particular temperature, the maximum salt which can be dissolved in 100 grams of water is 36 grams. So here at 20 degrees Celsius, it's containing the maximum amount of solute. So it's a saturated solution, right? So it's a saturated solution of sodium chloride at 20 degrees Celsius, and at this it contains 36 grams of salt in 100 grams of water, right? So in order to test whether a given solution is saturated or not, we should add some more solute to the solution and try to dissolve it by stirring, keeping the temperature constant, okay? And if more solute does not dissolve in the given solution, then it will be a saturated solution. But if more solute gets dissolved, then it will be an unsaturated solution. So basically, a solution is saturated at a particular temperature only. So if a saturated solution at a particular temperature is heated to a higher temperature, if we have heated, we have raised the temperature, then it becomes unsaturated. So basically, an saturated solution in which no more solute is getting dissolved can become unsaturated if temperature is changed, if temperature is raised, okay? Why? If we heat the solution to a higher temperature, then it becomes unsaturated? Because the solubility of solute increases on heating, and more of solute can be dissolved on raising the temperature of the solution. So note that solubility of solute in a solution cannot be increased indefinitely on raising the temperature of the solution. Okay. One more thing. There's also an effect of cooling on a saturated solution. If a saturated solution available at a particular temperature is cooled to a lower temperature, if we cool it to a lower temperature, then some of its dissolved solute will separate out in the form of solid crystal. Why? Why now we are getting the dissolved salt? Why we get it? Why it gets separated out? The solute which has dissolved on increasing the temperature. If we cool down the temperature, that dissolved solute will separate out. Why? Because now on cooling, solubility of solute decreases. So that is why when solubility decreases, the dissolved solute will separate out in the form of solid crystals.